Yo, what is up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the In Off the Bench podcast. I am Daniel Ball, and I'm joined as always by my co-host, my partner in crime, my brother from another mother, Jim Cross. And Jim, we got a good one tonight. We're going to be talking ECU baseball, Toronto Blue Jay baseball with pro baseball star Carter Cunningham. But first, you know what we got to do before we bring the stars on the show? We got to pay the bills around here. Our sponsors, first off, Chinook Seedery. Whether you're on the field or in the boardroom signing deals, Chinook will help you get the job done. Memphis City Designs, get your brand's gear and logo on everything from shoes to underoos. Memphis City will have you covered. You can get your in off the bench gear there while supplies last. Smith's Plumbing Service. You got sink clog, drain clog, toilet clog, or anything in between, come aboard Dustin, and they'll take good care of you. And finally, Old Dominick Distillery. Experience 150 years of tradition in the heart of downtown Memphis. From bourbon to vodka, whiskey to gin, Old Dominick's will get you covered. Stop in today for a tour or pick up your favorite bottle. And as always, tell them Jim, tell them DB from the In Off the Bench podcast sent you. Jim, it's been a long week, and we are back in the saddle because this week's going to be even longer because we got a great slate of guests. And I will say this, it starts with the man of the hour himself, Carter Cunningham. So let's get right to it. Help me welcome on to the biggest show and interview and podcasting this week, our man, ECU baseball star, Toronto Blue Jay star, Carter Cunningham.
My man, Carter, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing well. Appreciate y'all having me on. I've been looking forward to this for a while now.
Yeah, absolutely. You're somebody we've been following through your college career, not just on the field. You know, we'll get into the accolades, but what you've been able to do and accomplish off the field. But before we get into your story, I want to break the ice. Right now, Little League World Series is grabbing a lot of attention. Have you been able to take any of it in?
I actually haven't, but I did go to the Little League World Series growing up. My dad and brother and I took we stayed like 30 minutes from Williamsport, and we did like a little camping trip out of it. So that was a cool experience.
So
Can
I
ask a question before you jump in, Jim? Sorry. I always wonder this. You went to watch, right, Carter?
Yep.
So when you were there, did you ever feel like I'm as good, if not better, than these jabronis that are out here playing?
At that time, actually, I didn't think that because I was not a good baseball player growing up. But I can see why you asked that. Why you asked that question. But I didn't. I unfortunately did not think that.
Well, the element I was going to bring up with what's going on this time that they wouldn't have been doing as much when you would have been there. Have you at least been able to see, you know, the pro guys? You know, the best part has got to be Jazz Chisholm, literally, telling the kid, "You're my little brother now. Like, I got you." Like, that's the good stuff. And I told Daniel I was a fan of him. You know, when he was the Marlins, I hated that he went to the Yankees, but I love it, and I love seeing the kids getting to interact with them. Did you happen to see? I at least got to this. I'm gonna keep asking if you saw. Did you happen to see the walk off of the 18th inning last night?
Yeah. Okay. That was wild.
I have a conspiracy theory. Okay, I think being in 18 innings, he double pumped on purpose so that game could be over.
You might not be wrong.
Because there's no reason you could convince me otherwise to do that. And when you see what happens, it's like this kid was ready to go home, and I ain't even mad at him. So gave them the drama on the way out the door. But switching off Little League World Series, got to go to music for a second. You know, we always like to talk to athletes, find out what their favorite kind of music is. If you could go see any musician anywhere, who are you going to see? Where are you going to see them?
Oh man, that's a good question. I hate to go basic here, but like I've never even actually been to a concert, but I'd love to see Morgan Wallen. That's pretty basic. Probably not like a cool
that's
one
that's 9 out of every 10 answers on this show.
Yeah.
Good night, everybody. Interview's over.
You thought you had somebody different, Daniel. You thought you had somebody who was going to come in here with a different answer, and you were wrong.
You know, I was hoping.
Nah, well, my thing is like I've never been to one, so I got to pick like my favorite. But I will say this: in high school, I worked at a Domino's inside of Jiffy Lube Live, which is the amphitheater where like the big names would come and perform. So I would get off, like, we'd make our 500 pizzas and we were good to go. And so I'd hang out for a little bit at Domino's uni. And I got to see some of the concert before, like, I got like too embarrassed that I was like a Domino's worker in the crowd. But that was pretty cool.
I bet you made yourself some fire pizzas though.
Yeah, the last one of the night, it was actually like my brother and all of his high school friends, and they're like a bunch of clowns. So like the last pizza of the night was like we traded with like the chicken tender people and like the nacho people, and like we loaded up like the most messed up pizza that we possibly could have made. But it was a good time.
You know, Daniel, my side job when I was stationed out in San Diego was, concert security, if you remember. And I think I would still do it today for the same pay. Carter, I worked for Staff Pro. It was $10 an hour, but they send us to different venues, and we would either work in the stage front or we'd work backstage. But all the different artists we got to see, different genres, big time ones too. We weren't getting paid very well, but, getting to see what we got to saw, like, it could be as simple as I did forgot what the name of it was, but it was Eminem and 50 Cent and all that when it was big. Like, it could be that all the way to like Lone Star at a small little venue doing country, or even like an old classic one like B-52s. Like, you could do anything, but it was cool being all there for it. And I think I'd still do that today for the little pay, just to be there and hear the music for free live.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, this next question, I don't think I'm going to get the same answer from you. We never get the same answer on this question. Everybody has their own. When it comes to baseball movie, what is your favorite baseball movie all time?
Mine's not a serious one, so it might be a little different, but it's like, it might be my favorite movie of all time. It's Benchwarmers.
Boom. Daniel, we got a new answer.
I like it.
It's usually a different answer, but you do have Sandlot and Moneyball, said more than others, but I like it. Benchwarmers is something different. I think the last person I remember saying Benchwarmers literally might have been like 2 years ago with Luke Lipsius, because that was actually why he touched home plate with one finger, was because of that movie.
That's awesome.
Oh man, that's a throwback.
I got to meet the Lipsius brothers. They came up to Northern Virginia for a day, and I got to hit with them. I got to meet Luke and Andre. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, Andre played a typical college stint. Luke was there at Tennessee for about, as Tony V would say, 17 years, and felt like he was on his team the whole duration there. I'm surprised he's not still there now. Should have brought him on the coaching staff, but no, man, both those guys, high IQ on the baseball field, both could play, and Luke was okay that if baseball didn't work out, unlike Andre, because he was like a rocket scientist. So shout out to their their parents. They raised kids that getting it done.
Yeah, no doubt.
So let's get to it, man. Let's get to know you, Carter. Obviously, let's start about, I don't know, way back when. Hometown. Where are you born? Where are you raised, man?
Huntington Beach, California. So, Jim, you said San Diego. That's where my parents grew up.
Nice. Yeah, no, I was actually Huntington Beach. Daniel automatically just triggered me to 2 weeks ago when Ben Joyce invited me to an Angels game.
Bringing up rough times.
Invited me to an Angels game, and I was supposed to be back at my hotel changing, but my wife and daughter decided we were still going to be stuck at the beach. And nonetheless, I didn't get to take up Ben on his invite, and you better believe that night he threw his fastest pitch of 104.7.
Nice.
And so, I don't know. I contemplated divorce for about an hour. Then I was like, it's just baseball. But I definitely complained to Daniel for at least 3 days in a row.
Yeah,
it's all right. It was so fast, you wouldn't have seen it anyways.
Here's the reality, though, to the point of where he's from. Huntington Beach, Daniel, beautiful. I liked it personally better than I did any of the beaches in Florida, just because that's perspective. Carter, he lives in Florida. I really liked it.
Yeah. I didn't know I was living in paradise until after my senior year of high school. So I moved to Virginia when I was 9, Haymarket, Virginia. But I kept in contact. Like, I had family members still in California, and I kept in contact with some of my friends from California. And after my senior year of high school, I took a trip out there to see everybody and went back to Huntington Beach and had no idea that I lived in paradise for 9 years until I was old enough to realize it. So it was
What
an
was
awesome place to grow up, that's for sure.
when you went back? What was the one thing that you discovered that you wished you would have known when you were actually there?
That's a good question. I don't know. I think I would have taken advantage of going to the beach more, honestly. Like Northern Virginia, it's like I'm like right outside of DC, and it's a super busy, jam packed, so many high paced lifestyle, like so many cars, so many new everything getting built around me.
While
Yeah.
while he's gone, Daniel, I tell you what, you know those
Whoa.
cheesy '80s movies where they play beach volleyball. If me and you grew up in Huntington Beach, Daniel, we would have been professional volleyball players. I'm calling it.
Yeah,
You think so?
Yeah, because they got the availability of these courts out there. I'd be out there getting it. Let's go.
so I just wish I would have actually taken up the beach time a little bit more.
So you stay there until you're 9, then you move to Virginia. Is there a reason for the move? Was it family, jobs? Like what was the purpose of moving from California to Virginia?
Yeah, my dad was military. So when we were growing up in Huntington Beach, he did 3 tours in Iraq and Afghanistan. Um, and when he came back after his third tour, he took a job right outside of DC, um, sort of a defense intelligence. DC is kind of known for that stuff. So
His dad is CIA, is what he just said, Daniel, and he can't tell you
Without
anything
saying
else.
it. Without
yeah,
saying it.
yeah, I don't know.
Carter said he don't even know his dad's real name.
That's right.
Facts.
That's how secretive it is.
Exactly.
No, so obviously you got dad, mom's in the picture. You got brothers, sisters.
Yeah. My mom's been a marketing manager for almost her entire life. She actually worked at the Fred's on the corner of Main Street in Huntington Beach. I don't know if you know where that is, Jim, but that's where she worked for when we were living in California. And then, just now as a marketing manager for several different companies throughout her career. And then I'm the youngest, so I got an older brother. That's how old am I? I'm 23, so he's 25, and my sister's 29, and they were my role models growing up for sure.
All right, I'm gonna stop you because I know your brother ain't gonna stand for that. I bet there was some fights going on. Your sister may have been a little bit too old, or she just wasn't interested. But I know growing up, being 2 years apart, like y'all got into it.
Yeah, no, we definitely did. Like there was fights for sure.
I feel like with your dad's background, he had like a secret dojo in the garage, and like you guys were there, like bare knuckle fighting each other.
No, we would duke it out anywhere.
The movie The Accountant just like came to mind. You seen that, Daniel?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what he was
it.
doing with this. Yeah, that's what he was doing with his kids. They were literally fighting to the death.
Yeah, we had our fair share for sure.
Just getting after it. I mean, I usually ask who's your biggest influence, but like with your dad being a military doing 3 tours in Iraq, like I'm sure like he's up there on the list, if not number 1, right?
Yeah, both my parents for sure, and just my family, my parents and my siblings. Like I don't know, they've always just been so supportive and made so many sacrifices just for me to pursue a game. And so there's really no dollar amount of money that I could ever repay any one of my family members, but I just tell them every day that I just try to make them proud and to represent the Cunningham name in the best way possible. And I hope I do that.
Daniel, I don't gloss over that sister relationship because not only do me and you obviously have older sisters, but I was just thinking specifically because you said she was 29, he's 23, that 6-year gap. We just moved my daughter into the college, Carter, and my son is 6 years younger than my daughter. And like now he's like, call me every day. Like, I want to know what you're doing. And it's funny because when they're here, they don't want nothing to do with each other. But the reality is they do love each other and they're friends. And like, he was even like, I want to go to LSU so I can go to college with you. So it just really kind of shows even though you may not display it all the time, just the love, especially between a brother and sister that's there. Like I said, me and Daniel know it. Both our sisters are older. We drove them nuts. They drove us nuts. But at the end of the day, like there's no one we'd go to first if we needed to talk to somebody.
Yeah. And with my sister, it's like just, I guess her being the oldest, like she always had our backs, like me and my brother. Like we might not have like shown it as well as we could have, like the love that was there, but if there was ever anything in question or everything that we ever needed, like she was going to be there for us. And so that relationship is certainly special, and it's a different type of love for sure.
Yeah, I think it's a normal situation. I mean, you think back on it, and there are times where you're like, man, we just were so far apart that we didn't get each other. But now, as you get older, you're like, huh, it was normal. But with that, man, obviously, you get to Virginia. You're 9 years old. Do you stay in Virginia? Is that where you went to high school and kind of got ready and prepared yourself for college at that point?
Yeah, so stayed there. My parents are still there. My brother moved out. My sister moved out, obviously being older. But so my parents are still in the same house that we've been in since we moved to Virginia. They could probably downsize, but I'm not sure if you're familiar with the Agnos family. Zach Agnos is on the Hartford Yard Goats right now with the Rockies, and then Jake Agnos was a fourth rounder, also from ECU. But anyways,
I'm a Yard Goats fan now. Chase Doelander sent me this last week.
I saw that. So Zach's playing with Chase right now, but second grade. So I'm 9 years old. I walk into my second grade class, and there's a seat open right next to Zach Agnos. And a week before I got there, I moved. His best friend had moved to London. So that seat is open right next to Zach. And so I sat there just because it was the only open seat, not knowing what would come of it.
That's fate. That's fate at its best.
Instead of just the basic stepbrothers line, Daniel, about do you want to be best friends? He looked at him and said, not only do you want to be friends, but do you want to play pro baseball together?
Yeah.
And Carter's like, yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, literally. So, I mean, that was like without the Agnos family. So the older brother, John, and then they have an oldest sister, Katie. I did Christmas with them because my family's all on the West Coast in California. So it's just my immediate family. So Christmas, Thanksgiving, like East, like whatever holiday you could imagine, you could think of, we were with the Agnos family. And to this day, like we're still best friends, obviously. And we live a mile apart, same neighborhood back in Haymarket. And yeah, like you said, I know I wouldn't be here without them. And it's fate because you look at where Zach and I are in Jake's career at ECU even, and I wouldn't have gone to ECU without the Agnos family. Like that's just bottom line. I wouldn't have gone.
Well, I can tell you this. I'm pretty aggravated. My best friend wasn't a pro baseball player. He wasn't pro nothing. He's a producer. That's what he is.
Well, I got nothing for you.
So wait, I got a question for you guys. So how did this come about?
Oh man, it was how did our friendship come about?
Yeah, no, don't. But no, he was talking about the podcast. But I'm gonna tell you right now, that's gonna get me in trouble too because I put this thing on a delay for about 6 years. Like we had the equipment and we talked about it and we even dabbled around with it at his house in Florida. And then it took COVID like 6 years later for us to actually do it. So that's bringing up a sore subject just because we could have had this ball rolling so long ago, but I procrastinated hard on it.
Yeah.
It's all good. We got it moving. It's
Daniel learned how I was. You bring it back to when we met each other. When we were in school, I was asleep at my desk every day. He knows how I work. So I mean,
he didn't.
It's a surprise. Exactly. So I mean, I was one that literally would get summer school just so I'd have to miss 2 days in football. That's how I work. I mean, what can I tell you?
He was efficient. He wanted to do 2 years of English in 1 year. You did 10th grade and 12th grade English in the same
True
year.
story, Carter. Because I did not attend enough days in 10th grade, I had to go from 12th grade English in second period to 10th grade English in third period. He's not lying.
Nice. That's a fun fact, though.
Yeah. Speaking of high school, let's get to you. Obviously, what high school did you go to?
On to Battlefield High School.
So
that sounds awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does. Is that military based high school where a lot of kids that's military families, or is it just that was where you were zoned to go to high school, or was that a private school? Like, what kind of school are we talking about here?
It was a public high school.
What a
I would
badass name for a high school.
I know, like it just worked out for him.
Yeah.
Who
it
do
really
you
did.
who do you play for? Battlefield, bro.
The
Yeah.
battle. Like,
No.
what was your mascot? Please tell me it's nothing dumb.
It was a bobcat. I don't know.
Oh,
Is that dumb?
It's not dumb,
It's
but
not
it
dumb,
could have been
but
cooler.
Could have been cooler. I'll let them know.
we need
But,
a petition for a new
Petition,
mascot.
let's go.
But there was like, I mean, my freshman year, I was like 5'6". My freshman year, I had like no shot at making varsity. But even if I was good my freshman year, like the amount of talent and actual prospects that came out of a public high school in Haymarket, Virginia was insane. Like we had, like this doesn't include like this was the team my freshman year. The varsity team had 14 Division I players on that team. It was insane.
It's almost like they said, "Hey Zach, you and Carter, you're gonna go to the same high school together, and guess what? You're gonna be best friends, and
Yeah.
you're gonna be part of that 14 plus people that are gonna get drafted."
Yeah.
But in the
was
meantime,
real.
you got to play hockey because you're not good enough for baseball just yet.
That's right. That's right.
So you're not good enough for baseball, so you play hockey. Is that the case? I find that hard to believe.
It was play hockey because it was way more fun than baseball because I sucked at baseball growing up. Until freshman year, well, actually 8th grade, I got wrecked in hockey and broke my collarbone. And I was like, and then I played a little bit my freshman year, and then I was like, all right, maybe if I'm going to play college. No, it was like open ice. It was like literally we were breaking out of the zone, and I turned back to get a pass from the defender, and I turned around, and they had made a line change, and this like I said, I was actually at this time I was probably like 5'5", $110, and this like 6'3" kid from Rochester, New York, like hops off the bench that I didn't see it, and I turned my head around, and I was actually like parallel with the ice. It was pretty cool. And,
skates came off,
but it was before
ice.
Like everybody had cell phones getting video. We should have video of this.
Is that a penalty?
Yeah, it was like that kid got like kicked out of the
I
tournament.
was gonna say there wasn't enough time in the box for him.
Yeah.
Did we score on a power play?
I have no idea. I don't even like.
Bro, he was on his way to the hospital, bro.
Yeah, I was gone.
All right. So at what point? So at that point, you go, all right, yeah, maybe hockey's not it. Let me go back to baseball, or did you go back to hockey?
Yeah.
I'm curious on the broken collarbone how it affected his game going back to baseball.
Yeah, I mean, I was out for definitely a couple of months, but that happened like in the fall. So it kind of happened at a good time for baseball because there wasn't too much baseball going on at the time. So it was like, I guess, a good thing that it happened when it happened. But essentially what really happened with baseball and hockey was like my brother was also playing travel hockey. He wasn't a baseball player, really. That's a story for another time. It was pretty funny. His baseball career ended pretty abruptly. But he was always a really good hockey player. And so my dad was paying for 2 travel hockeys and a travel baseball. So he basically went to me. He was like, you got to pick one. I can't. It's actually like impossible to afford it. And so I was like, I broke my collarbone. I'm like, yeah, maybe I'll stick to baseball, this whole thing. And hockey is still like my favorite sport to watch. I still rollerblade all the time. I just play street hockey all the time. And it's probably more fun. I don't know if I'm allowed to say this, but it's more fun than baseball to play even. So
it's more fun to watch. So I can.
Well, it's okay because almost every baseball player that played football in high school too said they actually loved playing football more. They were just better at baseball. It almost seems like that's just the way it is. The sport you're best at is never the one that was your favorite.
Yeah.
That's Jim. Do you think this is like a rookie of the year moment where he broke his collarbone, then all of a sudden he was really good at baseball?
I didn't think about it until you said it, but now the wheels are turning. We can tell it that way. It's our story to tell now.
Yeah.
So were you playing travel baseball too, or did that come after?
Yeah, I was at that time.
That's why he couldn't do both. Dad said, "Look," and I'm gonna tell you, Daniel doesn't know that life yet. He's got a 6-year-old and a 1-year-old. Because his daughter's a gymnast, and from what I understand, because I didn't have a gymnast, I think that I've heard that could be the most expensive, even more than baseball. So, Daniel, I hope you're saving away right now.
Yeah, it's expensive.
Oh, trust me, it's only started, and I know all too well. But who did you play travel baseball for?
I played for an organization called the Stars. But so when I joined the Stars, though, I was either like 12 or 13. We had one team, and then now the Stars has it's kind of blown up. We got travel ball, 8U teams now, I think. But when I joined, it was sort of a small organization. We were kind of it was called Colangelo Baseball Academy. Mike Colangelo founded it, and he played in the MLB for some games, and then he brought along Sean Camp, who also played in the MLB. So I joined them, and then 13-14, it kind of grows, and we have multiple teams at each age division now. And I wasn't good enough to be on the top team until my senior year of high school, which is probably why I only had 2 Division I offers coming out of college or coming out of high school, because I wasn't a good baseball player. Even you say rookie of the year moment, even at that moment, I wasn't good. I didn't get good until my senior year of high school, and by that time, I was committed to Gardner Webb. But it was a struggle at times.
You were the 4th ranked outfielder in Virginia and the 21st best prospect in the state by perfect game. So obviously, those type of rankings happen your senior year, right?
Yeah.
So you said Gardner Webb and another Division I were the only offers that you had. What was that other offer?
It was George Mason, which was 15 minutes. It's 15 minutes from my house. And Sean Camp, who was my high school coach and my travel coach, played there. And now he coaches there. So he's the head coach there now. But he got me that offer, essentially.
Well, you inevitably get the offer from Gardner Webb, and that's where you chose to go. So tell me, what was it about Gardner Webb? Was it the atmosphere? Was it the school? Did you have just an emotional feeling? What was the reason why you chose them over George Mason?
George Mason I was the dumb high school kid that didn't want to stay too close to home. And decided to go to a school that was 7 hours away instead and make it difficult on my parents. And then also the recruiting coordinator at the time from Gardner Webb, his name was Ross Steedley. He actually just took a job at App State. I had a connection with him that I really liked, and I liked the coaches there. And then I'm getting ready to go to Gardner Webb, and they clean house of the coaches. And so I played for a brand new coaching staff that I mean, they didn't know anything about me. I didn't know anything about them. We kind of just walked in there, and that was the COVID year, so it was only 16 games or something. But I ended up obviously leaving after that.
Well, yeah, I got to, on the way home from Wake Forest, got to stop by Gardner Webb, got to actually meet Coach Chester. Me and my son got to tour the baseball facilities, and honestly, the locker room could use some improvement, but the baseball field itself, y'all had a real nice field. nice setup. So, I mean, it seemed like baseball for at least the 16 games you had there wasn't too bad. And just based upon the feel I got from Coach Chester, didn't seem like you were probably playing for a bad guy. I mean, so, in your 16 games, what did you learn from it? And, were you able to enjoy it for at least a, certain degree for the time you had?
Yeah, I mean, I think those 16 games actually they just confirmed that I was good enough to play at the Division I level, because growing up, like I wasn't good growing up, so like I had self-doubt. Like I didn't know if I was good enough. Like a guy with only 2 offers compared to, like, I don't know, maybe like my roommate at Gardner Webb had multiple offers coming out of high school, so I was like, well, is he better than me? Like I just had so much doubt in myself, and I started all the 16 games. I think I hit cleanup in all 16, and I didn't do bad. I think I hit like 270 with a home run. Like as a freshman, I was like, it just confirmed that I was like, all right, I can really do this. So it was a good just confidence builder and booster.
Yeah, no doubt. And, obviously COVID cuts it short, changes everything. So how is it then that, you end up going the JUCO route in Florida? Obviously I know COVID changed up a lot of different things. So for you, what made that be the change, and, how did you end up picking that school?
So this is kind of a crazy story, but essentially the seniors on that Gardner Webb team that either were there for all 4 years or maybe transferred in and are now had kind of been around the program. They saw me come in as a freshman and play pretty well, and they were like, "Dude, you got to get out of here." And I'm like, "What are you guys talking about? Like, I got this like 4-hole spot locked up for like my career. Like, why would I leave?" And they were like, "Dude, just go to Florida JUCO. You won't regret it. Go to a Power 5." They said Power 5 school, like when you're done at your junior college, and you'll look back and thank us later. And like I said, like I thought they were crazy, and I didn't believe them and then COVID hits, and like I'm just sitting at home kind of thinking about it and thinking about what they said to me, and started doing some research. I'm like, because especially as a high school kid coming out, like you look down on JUCO. Like you're like, dude, I'm at a D1. Like, why would I ever go to a junior college? And like that probably might be one of the dumbest things a high schooler kid could say if I had any advice to a high school kid. Because that Florida JUCO, the league I was in was, I mean, my JUCO team would have beaten a lot of Division I programs. We had 5 guys get drafted off my JUCO team that year, and that's not including like just 5 in that season. And it was incredible baseball in the Florida JUCOs. Like it's a Division I league down there.
Yeah,
And,
no, you're at least it's double digits, athlete baseball player to come on here that played Florida JUCO, then went D1 afterward, and is now, in the pros. And, Northwest Florida State, we had Coach Doug Martin on, and I loved it. His pitch was not only the level of baseball, but he told me and Daniel, he was like, people pay to come down to the beach where we're at. He's like, we'll pay you to come here. But yeah, the Florida, the JUCO, like you said, even in Mississippi, it's the same way. Like you said, the people who frown upon JUCO don't understand it, but the guys who gave you that advice clearly knew what they're talking about, especially when we get to see now the trajectory in which you took. So in your time there, talk about the quality of talent. You were talking about how good it was. You ranked 18th in the entire country. Junior college was. Talk about just the level of talent and how it made you a better player through that year.
Yeah, I mean, I remember starting out that season like hot. Like I was like, I couldn't miss, and then I had an injury, kind of set me back a month, and I returned from that injury, and like I actually couldn't make contact with the ball, and it was that was like a huge learning process for me that year of what it takes to be elite. Because to be quite honest, like the competition maybe at Gardner Webb, like it wasn't like the Big South Conference wasn't as good as what I was seeing in junior college. Like it, like flat out, like we were facing some dudes in those Florida JUCO games, and so it was like, yeah, it was a big learning moment. And I was like, if I want to play professionally, like I gotta change something. I gotta figure out how to hit velocity and guys with 3 pitches and all that stuff. So it offered me a lot of perspective, and then getting to be surrounded by a lot of really good players that year, obviously, a lot of good hitters, and our inner squads. Like, I will never forget our first inner squad. We have like probably 15, 20 MLB scouts just to watch our inner squad. I'm like looking around, like, what's going on here? Like, and then opening weekend, we played Northwest Florida State. They came down for a tournament, and there was legit 60 MLB personnel in the stands at our opening day game. And I was like, what is happening? Like, this is junior college. Like, it was incredible. I don't have enough good things to say about, like, especially the way the college baseball landscape is headed. If I were a high school senior or high school junior right now, I'm probably going to a junior college where I know I'm going to play, get game reps, and then possibly transfer in, because, I mean, as we all know, the portals changed the landscape completely.
Right.
And so,
well, and I mean, not only have we learned from junior college, but I learned just getting into this with Daniel. He's a national championship pitching coach at Tampa. I saw D2 in a whole new light when I went down there and saw his program and saw the caliber players, saw, where they played and everything. And so my whole, perspective from the time that we started doing baseball, when I thought, just D1, just like anybody else, seeing the D2, D3, NAI, JUCO, all of them, man, there's so much talent everywhere. And just like Daniel has always told me, there's always a place. If you're just average, there's always a place somewhere for you to play. He's like, very rarely than I have a place for you to play and be able to get better. So it's really cool that you were able to get there, maximize your opportunity. So with that, you go down there, you get better. You're looking at schools, I'm sure, all around the country. So how is it? You mentioned the story back home. How ECU comes into play.
Yeah, that was it. Was the Agnos family. Like, I went to a very small amount of games where Jake Agnos was pitching there, because Jake graduated high school in 2016 from Battlefield. Went to ECU, and I'll never forget watching Jake pitch in one of the games where it's like a sold out stadium, and I'm like, I want to play here one day. Like, this is the coolest environment ever. Like, there's 5,000 people here, 6,000 people to watch Jake pitch on a Friday night. Like, this is the coolest thing ever. And so, like, from that moment, it was like, at that time, like, I was kind of in my own recruiting or lack of recruiting process, I guess you could say. But I knew, like, if I could ever have the opportunity to play at East Carolina, like, that was like, I would take it in a heartbeat. So COVID hits, I hit the portal. I'm looking for a junior college to go to. Everybody's like, go to Florida. And this is at the time where you had to sit out a year. Like, I couldn't go to EC right away if I had even wanted to. But I commit to Florida Southwestern. And then I remember driving down with Zach and Jake's parents to ECU, because now at this time Zach's at ECU, and we're driving down there to go, like, move some stuff out for Zach and just get him all situated and everything. And we stopped by the baseball field. Zach wasn't even with us, but I was with his parents, and Mr. Agnos is like, get out of the car. Like, I got somebody you should meet. And like, in comes Coach Godwin, and Coach Godwin remembered me. Like, he knew my name because Zach and I grew up together. And when he did his house visit with Zach, I was there. Like, he didn't say any words to me, but I was just in the room. And then, like I said, we played travel ball together. So, like, he recruited Zach, and he saw me at a couple of events, but, like, I wasn't good. So I was not even close to being recruited by him out of high school. But he saw me when we go move Zach out, and he's like, Carter? And I'm like, yeah. He's just like, he couldn't believe, like, how much I'd grown into my body. Like, I was 6'3" now. Like,
you're not the same kid that was 5'6" and was terrible.
Yeah. Like, he was just like he
Coach Godwin was like,
Carter?
I saw you get decleated on the ice.
Yeah. He was just, like, so shocked that it was me. Like, if you ask them right now, like, he just didn't believe it. And so I was just like, they were like, Mr. and Mrs. Agnos were like, really pushing me on him, and like he's kind of denied the fact that I was like a good player now, but I was. And so before even stepping on campus at Florida Southwestern, I was committed to East Carolina.
Oh, nice.
Because like in my JUCO coach, who I hadn't even met at the time, like this is all phone calls with my JUCO coach. He's like, "You're crazy. Don't do it. Wait till like you have all these offers from Florida schools and they get to see you." And I'm like, "You don't get it. Like this is my dream school. Like I don't care if Florida State offers me or if Miami or Florida or like whoever. I don't care. Like this is where I want to go because this is what I've dreamed of." And so already off to we got off on the wrong foot, me and my JUCO coach right away for sure. But I didn't care. Like I knew I wanted to go to East Carolina. So
the pressure has to be off though at that point. Like he should be like salivating at the fact that you are committed, and yeah, it may not be a Florida school because I'm sure he's probably telling all these Florida schools, "Hey, here's who's coming in. Like I got some guys," but at least you know that you can go out and go, "All right, I'm good as long as I stay injury free. I can go out and just play, just very loose."
Yeah, no, that year was I kind of had that mindset. I mean, obviously I had a hot start to that year, like I said, and then I slumped the last half. So it was like, I didn't want to necessarily get complacent with anything, and I still like that's just not the type of person that I am now. But it definitely like it was a monkey off the back, like just knowing that after this year I would have a place to go, and not only a place to go, but like a place that I can call home for the rest of my life.
Yeah, so you talked about, seeing what ECU was like, seeing packed, on a Friday night. Me and Daniel talk about it all the time here. It's literally probably the only place that I haven't been to yet that I really want to go to watch baseball. And it's funny because I keep getting offered from y'all's amazing fan base all the time, but I drive everywhere and it's a 14-hour drive. So it's like of all the places I've been offered, it's the furthest, but I could see why you would want to play there. It's the same reason why I want to go there and watch. And so your freshman year, when you get there and you're playing in front of the jungle, that first weekend, what's the atmosphere like? What's, the emotions like for you?
Yeah, that was like, I don't know. I couldn't get my heart to slow down. Like I was just so like amped to be there and playing. Cause like first game, I'm the junior college transfer. Nobody like really knew me. But first game, first at bat, I hit like a triple off the wall. And I was like, all right, like this is epic. Like I was in the 2-hole, just like we're about to like take the lead first game. Like, and we end up getting swept opening weekend by Bryant. And it's like, wow, like what just happened? And then the rest of that year for me, kind of, it just kept going downhill for me. I wasn't performing well. Well, Jacob Jenkins Cowart, who was on here, like he was a freshman All-American. He took the starting job in right field from me. And I mean, he took it and he ran with it. Like he obviously had a phenomenal freshman year. And
I remember reading his stats off. His stats freshman year were something serious. I remember.
Yeah, they were insane. And so I would go in the 8th or 9th inning to go defensively replace him because he was a young giraffe out there at times. So that was, we called ourselves.
He said as much. He said he got, because I talked about the couple web gems that he had this year, and he said he wasn't like that in the beginning at all.
No, he wasn't. We called ourselves the right fielders that year because he knew that if he didn't have another at bat coming up, that I was going in for him, like whatever inning that might have been, the 7th, 8th, maybe it was the 6th. Until finally, like he didn't need me anymore. Obviously, like he turned into this phenomenal right fielder that makes web gems and has a good arm and can change the game in multiple facets. So
and he should never be embarrassed by that because there's a guy who's been on the show twice who's been first team all MLB since, but Austin Riley used to be called Ocho because they would replace him at third base, and he's completely transformed his game. So yeah, you get enough reps in anywhere, and you have that good athleticism, work ethic, everything else in between, usually you can put it together like he did. Yeah. But, for you said the year didn't go well for you individually, but as a team, you got to be a part of, great moments, starting with y'all winning the regional against Coastal Carolina. And to win against Coastal, when you're talking about the state of North Carolina and baseball, so many powerhouse colleges, and ECU and Coastal being two of them, meeting in the regional, what was it like being there for that scene and your team getting that win?
Yeah. Like, obviously the year didn't go well for me personally, but like, I was just blessed beyond measure to even be part of that team, because that team did some phenomenal things that year. And like you said, getting to witness that, like just being in the dugout for the Texas Super Regional and hosting that regional and beating Coastal that game, and like the memories and the bonds formed, like that you can't, like I would have sat all year just to be a part of that team again. Like I would do anything to go back to that year, because that was the first ever super regional that we hosted on campus. And that was like, I mean, it was just the loudest place in America, I think. Like when I
remember it because against Texas, Daniel, I know we talked about it here. Honestly, that was when y'all kind of became, America's team in that sense, because it was Texas who, everybody loves to hate Texas for all the right reasons, and they're in Omaha all the time, and it was ECU, and you were at home, and you're just literally, you lost that game 8-9. You're just one run from making it to Omaha, and that's why each year everybody's been putting ECU there, because with y'all being so close, it's like everybody wants ECU to go so bad, because we saw how close, at that time y'all were considered, the small guy. Now nobody considers you that anymore, even not getting to Omaha. Everybody wants you there so bad, because there's nothing really to dislike about ECU. It's like, even when y'all came into Memphis this year, me and Daniel, you see the flag behind them, we're from Memphis and everything, but it's like, I can't root against ECU. There's nothing to like dislike about them. Like, so there I am wearing like a Memphis shirt with an ECU hat, and I look like retarded in the stands. But you did get to experience that. And then the second year, you take off, you play in 65 games, 51 starts. You hit 317, 51 runs scored, 12 doubles, triple, 8 home runs, 39 RBIs, just absolute amazing production. So talk about that jump from the first year to the second year. Is it just coming with experience in general, or, I mean, did you have to make some tweaks? What happened?
Yeah, it was a little bit of both. Definitely the experience. Like, you can't really, there's no substitute for game reps. I'm a big believer in that. Like, that's why I'm telling the high school kids to go play at a junior college, because you can't substitute game reps. So getting that experience, just getting that comfort level in was definitely huge. And then, I mean, getting to work with, at that time, it was Colby Bortles. He's a legend in my book. He's a legend in a lot of people's book. The brother of Blake Bortles. He was the man. Getting to work with him and Coach Godwin on my swing a little bit that year, just fine tuning some things, and then ultimately you combine those two, the experience with some tweaks in the swing, and the confidence is there. And so I wish it didn't take me 21, 22 years of life to realize that baseball is all mental. It's like, if you don't believe in yourself, nobody's going to believe
Daniel,
in you.
How many guys would come on here and be okay with not getting it right till they were 21, 20? Because we got people we know that still don't get it right. Like, we're still not getting it right. What are you talking about? So
you never, I mean, that's the thing. Oh, I mean, a lot of things in life, you never arrive. Like, that's like sort of like my motto, and like, whatever facet of life you want to go down, you never arrive. And I think, like, that's just a constant, something that's constantly running through my mind, whether it's like in my faith. Like, I love my relationship with God, because I will never arrive. Like, every day, I mean, it says in scripture as well that you won't know everything there is to know about God. And so for me, like, I apply that to leadership. Like, as a leader, you're never going to arrive. As a baseball player, you're never going to arrive. And there's times to be, content and happy with the work you put in, but there's always more work to be done. And so that was sort of, I don't even know how I got there, but that's
Yeah, no, and let me, thinking about things, accomplishing things. I wanted to ask, in the summer of 2023, you went to Cal Ripken Collegiate League, which I'm not familiar with, and I started thinking with just what you're talking about. Cal Ripken accomplished something that that I would be proud of. But talk to me about that league because I don't know much about it. Where did you go, and just how much did you benefit from it?
Yeah. So actually, the summer before, so like, I didn't play my junior year at ECU, and then I go and play in the Valley League for the Charlottesville Tom Sox, and I hit like over 400 there in that summer, and I played, I don't know, 30 plus games there. That I left that out. That gave me a lot of confidence going back to ECU. Just like knowing that, like I said, I can do this. I can compete at the highest level. I can do this. So then
Yeah,
I
I feel
have that.
bad. You talk about having that. Like, it was hard for me to, because I wanted to ask the Cal Ripken thing because I didn't know much about it. But I saw what you'd done that summer. You have the longest page I think I've came across. Between the COVID year, multiple transfers, like Daniel, like, I mean, and then all the accolades you get this past season, which me and Daniel used to have fun reading those. We'd be like, look, all right, just take kick your feet up for a second. We're gonna read this list off. Anyway, Daniel, when I pulled up his SID page, it was like scroll. Like, man, I got a lot to work through here.
Yeah, I actually think they made some of those awards up. I swear, like every day it was like a new one. I'm like,
Well,
you guys
I'm
got
gonna
me.
say those graphics that they put on Instagram solidify that they weren't made up.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
talk to me on the Cal Ripken. Like I said, 'cause
yeah,
I'm not familiar with. Where did you go, and what was that league like?
yeah. That was So I just finished my second year at ECU, and every summer the incoming freshmen or junior college transfers go to ECU and do like summer school, and they'll train and kind of get acclimated to the culture. And so coach, I mean, I didn't have quite a good enough year to get drafted, and I knew I wasn't really going to get drafted that year. So coaches wanted me to come back and be there, be a leader for the new guys at ECU. But the time in between our season ending and from that time to when I had to be back at ECU, I was just bored. And Bethesda, Maryland was like a good 45-minute drive from my house. And so the founder that I played for, the Stars, Mike Colangelo, his brother is the coach of the Bethesda Big Train, Sal Colangelo. And so I hit up Sal and I'm like, hey, Sal, it's Carter. Pretty bored. If you want a decent player to come help you win some games for a month, I'd love to join. And asked Coach Godwin if that was okay, and he let me do it. So I got about a month worth of ABs there. Actually, the last week was complete rainouts. I was kind of pissed about that because I wanted to play. And so I think coach is like, yeah, you got till July 1st. Just be back on campus July 1st. So I got to play there for a month. I think I had decent stats that summer too. It was only a couple weeks, but I want to say it was 350s maybe.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was good. Another confidence booster. Just like I can keep performing at the highest level.
Yeah, of course, coach is going to be okay with it. I mean, you're going and getting those reps, like you're talking about. Like you said, the constant reps will always make guys get better. It was no different than you talking about the JUCO in general. We hear that from guys all the time. The ones who go to teams where they don't play, you're not going to get any better not taking the reps.
Yeah.
But Daniel, I wanted to tell you, as he's like listed off, like he talked to this person or knew that person. The funny part is when I go on shows, Daniel, right, and they always say nobody has more numbers in their phone. Carter might, man. I don't know. When it comes to who like Carter seems to know a lot of people in a lot of the right places.
No, he was just like, you know what? I want to play summer ball. Let me call up. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, that's what my mom says. I really do have a lot of phone numbers in my phone because, I mean, just the way that I operate, like I'm a big like relationship based kind of person. Like I do well when I have a connection with somebody. So I get to know people like we're doing now. Like I could do this all day. And actually, I do want to start a podcast and have guests on. Which
whoa! Don't be taking our audience away, Carter. Don't do that.
But yeah, I have a lot. There's been an unbelievable amount of amazing people that have come into my life for sure. So
Yeah, no, I kid. I'm all about the opportunity to grow the game. That's something that we jumped on with Chinook Seedery. Just and the more people who are driving content, I feel like because I feel like still even with the ratings getting as big as they have the last few years, I still feel like it's vastly underrated. And so the more people talking about it, I feel like the better. But let's get into this year. Like you said, they didn't happen, but AAC Player of the Year, it happened. Community Impact Award player or winner happened. All AAC or AAC first team selection. You got any award that basically they could give out in the American Athletic Conference. So let me ask this first, because I can tell based upon your character, the individual accolades don't matter. You're there to win a national championship with your team. But, getting the biggest and best awards, especially when you're talking about on the field, off the field, in the classroom, in the community, just how good does it feel at the end of the day, for real, to be able to accomplish and get those awards?
I think it definitely reflects like the hard work that I put in. And that aspect, that's really cool. But like you were saying, like it for me, it was like so team focused and like so external. Like how can I help the community? How can I help my teammates? How can I bring a national championship to East Carolina? That like when that is like truly like I was so focused on the external circumstances around me that like in turn, in order for me to be like my best or the best teammate, the best leader, the best person in the community, like I had to be the best version of myself. And so like Coach Godwin always mentions like the burden of leadership. Like what does that look like? What does that take? And it's like a lot of sacrifices. And so throughout this past year, like I had to make a lot of sacrifices. And so to get recognized for all those individual accolades is awesome. But it was like it was just a result sort of being so caught up in making others around me better and changing lives for the better that obviously is not the reason why the awards are not the reason why I do it, but it was cool to be recognized. And the only one that I really did, like I truly care about is the community impact one, because let's be honest, like I baseball is not going to last forever.
I don't know. You say the community impact one, but talking with Drew Beam's mom, she said the proudest she's ever been of her son wasn't the national championship. It was the Scholar Athlete of the Year in SEC. So I don't know. You kind of downplay that one, man. When you get the Scholar Athlete Award, I mean, they don't just give that to nobody. Like, I mean, that means you're getting it done in the classroom too.
They literally don't give that to dummies. They don't.
Yeah.
So he tried to downplay it and say the community one, but I mean, you can't gloss up Daniel, man. I'm putting this to you as a dad, man. Like he's played the humble card all the way back to saying he wasn't good at baseball when he was younger. Daniel, if I tell you your kid is going to get the award for best baseball player on the field, the community person, and oh, by the way, the best scholar athlete, like, I mean, as a dad, like, does it get any better? Because I think his parents have to feel amazing on a daily basis.
I feel as though that is like the grand slam of awards. It's a
triple crown.
It's an athletic award. It's a community award,
Crown.
and it's an academic award. So it's all the things that are instilled into somebody to say, hey, to be a good person just in general, you need to be able to do these three things. And you went to college and you done those three things. And not only did you do them, you did them on a level where you were recognized as the best to do it.
Yeah. And yeah, like I said, it is cool. And I'm not, I grades.
Oh, you're doing what you're supposed to do. You're not being arrogant. And it is a team sport. So I get what you're doing. You're not doing anything wrong, but we can only take so much of the humbleness because, dude, like you've killed it. Like, I think about your dad, and I've done the military salute at Alex Box on the baseball field. And like, if I was your dad and they went to honor me, I would like grab the mic and be like, let me tell y'all something. We need to get my son out here because I ain't got nothing on my kid. Like, look, that's cool. I did this. Let me tell you about my kid. Anyway, like, because I'm proud of my kids as is, and they don't got the list of accolades you do. So we're just trying to say, hey, man, like you need to like chest out, head high, like because you killed it, dude.
Yeah, but and also just reflecting on this past year, like, as you know, Jim, like I'm very outspoken about my faith, and so this past year, about a year ago, I joined a small group that changed my life. Like I was surrounded by Christian mentors, a lot of strong Christian men in my life that led me down the path of righteousness and not destruction. And so without those guys in my life and leading me to Christ, like none of this actually would have been possible, obviously, without Christ. And so the reason like I never boast about any of it is only I only want to give credit to Christ because that is essentially it. Like and the reason I am so outspoken about it is because like everything that happened to me is awesome, but in reflecting and meditating and praying, like I never once was like, I never prayed for any of those awards. I never was like, God, please let me win the male scholar athlete of the year. Like, just like, I don't pray that. I just prayed every single day.
You ever seen For Love of the Game?
I haven't.
Okay, so he's out on the mound and he's throwing a perfect game, and he said, God, I always said I'd never bring you into this, but if you could just help me for one more pitch.
Yeah.
You know, so no, it made me think of it. But no, you have, and Daniel, he's even shared with me. I've gotten to be a part of a group that shares devotional scripture every morning, and so I can say that it's not like a front for him. I've got to actually witness and see it with my own guys. And when I think about your team, honestly, switching it back to the team narrative, so it's not just on you. I think it speaks well about who you are because there are so many high character guys on your team. You know, whether it's been Parker or Ryan or Jacob, like all those dudes have came on, and obviously there's a lot more than that. And then, you know, with your coach, like it really is ECU, not just an elite baseball program, but, you know, it feels like ironically ECE elite I can't even talk elite character program as well. And so it speaks volumes. I feel like, you know, the way y'all are, it's a Proverbs 17:17 thing. It's the iron sharpens iron thing. And I think that's what you feel best about with what God's done with you is the opportunity just to strengthen all those other young men in the room.
Yeah. And he gave me the platform to do it. And so for me to selfishly boast about it would be completely wrong. And so getting in a locker room with all those guys and then playing for a leader like Coach Godwin, and I did say this in my post-game presser after we lost, like I truly viewed him as a Christian mentor and not a coach about halfway through the season because our conversations were never even about baseball. Like they were always about his dad was going through a tough time, and I'd ask him about his dad and how I could pray for his dad, and he would ask me about my family, and my mom was going through some things, and he would ask how he could pray for my family, and like our conversations were they just weren't around baseball, and we both understood that we had strong platforms, and seeing how he transformed his life from when I stepped foot on campus to where he is now, and the way he leads as a Christian leader is like if I'm a recruit and you want to go to a place where you're going to become a better human being and also a good baseball player, like East Carolina is without a doubt the best place to be. So I was just grateful. Like, yeah, it's iron sharpening iron. I was just grateful to be in that locker room.
Yeah, no doubt. So I do want to bring up one more thing, and then I'll let Daniel play a game because, you know, feel like we've done a pretty good job, you know, just getting your college story. But I have to talk about when I was there because I was able to see you in person. I talked about, you know, Memphis Daniel. Let me tell you what he did to your Memphis Tigers.
Okay. Yeah, that was a good weekend, actually.
7 for 12.
Okay. We don't have to rehash it.
7 for 12.
Three home runs.
Bombs.
Yeah.
I mean, and we're not talking about just wall scrapers either, man. I mean, Carter had it personal out for your Tigers, bro.
It was personal. No, I'm kidding. There was like the wind just blew out to like left center.
Mm-hmm.
So like the approach all weekend for me was like, if I can just get a ball to left center, it will look like a bomb. Like I wasn't like, they were barrels. So like it was just backspin.
Well,
for left
let me
center,
tell you on
they were
the
gone.
Friday night. What happens is I was curious to see how Memphis would respond because with Trey pitching on Friday and dominating him the way they did, and then y'all teed off and run ruled them. I was like, how will they respond? And I will say this: Sunday was their best game, and they did compete. So I was actually pretty proud of Memphis because it was clear how much better ECU was than Memphis. But for them on the Sunday to still come out and compete and try to take that game. But that Friday night game, I was like, man, y'all just ripped their heart out. And I was like, I don't know if they're going to. And this is a thing when the season started, I was telling the ECU fans, don't sleep on Memphis. And then when we got there, I was like, oh, like, I'm glad nobody kept receipts on that.
Clearly, they didn't.
Yeah. Well,
Carter's this Christian man, and he goes in there and just puts a mollywhopping on the Tigers. That's not very Christian. That's
Colossians 3:23 says, "Whatever you do, work at it with all your heart, as though working for the Lord." So I was just working for the Lord that weekend.
Hey, he ain't lying about the wind. I've sent Daniel so many videos. Memphis is a launch pad. That wind is blowing straight out all the time.
Yeah, like it was like I just hit a pop up to left field. It'll go.
Why couldn't Memphis just do that? Well, they did, just not against ECU. I mean,
well, you're also facing Trey Savage.
Yeah. Well, and that was where I got caught fanboying because you guys, Daniel, I recorded every pitch Trey threw, and I was like, more than the rest of the game, if anything, I was there to watch Trey pitch, and I sat right behind home plate videoing the whole thing because I was like, I've heard so much, I've seen it on TV. Now I'm gonna, because of the way Memphis is, and not many fans come to the game. Like it is what it is. Like I'm gonna be able to get the best seat and video this whole thing, and that's what I did. I really took in Trey that night.
Yeah, I mean he had a no-hitter.
He actually had he had a no-hitter, but ironically for him like on the strikeouts, like it was kind of like an off night for him. I was a little disappointed. He only had like 9 strikeouts. I'm like, bro, I thought we were gonna get like 15 here.
Yeah, nine's a bad night for him.
Dude's throwing a no-no, and all you can get hung up on is he only had 9 Ks.
I mean, I had just watched Chase Burns the week before throw 16. I was and Hagen. Hey, I had Hagen the week before that was 17. That's why I'm hung up on Ks. Blame those guys. Anyway, enough of that. Let's play this or that.
Well, I got one more question. I obviously.
Oh yeah, he got drafted or something. I forgot about that.
Yeah, you can't leave out that. I mean, we got.
The ECU story was so perfect. It was like I almost felt like he hung up his cleats because he couldn't do anything more.
I see.
That's what it felt like.
What he wanted to do is he wanted to end the episode on a sour note for me, like talking about Memphis getting dominant. So I see you, but obviously, Carter, man, you get drafted in the 10th round by the Blue Jays. Explain to me like the process of that, like the day of the draft. Do you know that you're going to get drafted? Are you hoping? Do you have an idea where it might be? Who are you with? Like, set the stage for like what happened.
I'll set the stage. I was in Bermuda on a cruise, so actually not ideal. Not ideal circumstances.
They say keep your phone by you. Oh, I'm going to go where there's no service at all.
Yeah. So, my girlfriend's family. My girlfriend's the oldest of three sisters. The youngest sister had just graduated high school, and they for every graduation that the girls had, they do like a big family trip, and so this one was the youngest sister graduated, so they had planned it for about a year out, and they took the boyfriends with them, and so I was fortunate enough to go, and then
I dated into the wrong family, Daniel. Golly.
No, I'm like, they're like, I was asking my girlfriend, I'm like, when's the cruise? And she's like, oh, it's July 13th through the 8th, July 13th through the 18th. And I didn't think of it at the time of like when she said it, like when we were booking it. Also, the draft wasn't on my mind, obviously. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna go on a cruise. That's freaking awesome. And so like we're getting closer to the draft, and I'm like, hey, when's that cruise again? And she's like, July 13th through the 18th. And I'm like, nice.
Well, like, let me ask you this, Jim, you'll know this. When was the College World Series?
It was June 14th through the 26th.
All right. Yeah. So you're taking this in July, right? This.
Yeah.
this trip. So obviously, like, you're thinking, oh, like this will be a good, like, whatever happens, a good way to kind of decompress, and like you're not thinking anything about draft. It's just like I'm using this as a chance to enjoy myself after a long year. So I could see that, man. I could definitely see that.
I've never even been on a vacation before, so it was like without a doubt I'm going on that. I've never been out of the country, like never. Travel sports was our vacation time. So when she said that, and her parents, invited me, I was like, this is undoubtedly like I'm going on this trip. And so I knew. Now back to your original question. So now that the scene is set, I knew sort of like I'd been hearing day two. My agent was, he was just like, there's no guarantees in the draft. Like this is what I'm hearing. And it was actually pretty quiet on day two up until like the 9th round. And the Blue Jays and the Giants maybe had like a small deal. Like I'm a senior sign. I'm 23. I'm a senior sign. Like I knew I wasn't getting life-changing money. Like I knew that going in. And so when the Blue Jays called, I had done a couple of workouts with them previously and really liked the organization and got a tour of the brand new player development complex here. And like when they called, it was kind of like, that's the team I want to play for. And so that was just getting to celebrate on the cruise, obviously was a blast. And being around my girlfriend and her family, they were obviously super excited. And it was that was a great day for sure.
Yeah, I'll tell you this, Daniel. He got drafted in the 10th round. It speaks volumes, honestly, to what they thought of him, because this as well as I do. A lot of the guys that we know, they're seniors, they usually just get signed as free agents because they don't use the draft on them because they have no leverage. So the fact that you were taken, especially within the 10th round, it really does speak a lot. I know you said the money isn't as much, but a lot of these guys are just signing free agent contracts because they don't have any leverage. So they obviously thought a lot about you to take you then.
Yeah, and that spoke measures to me for sure.
So currently, right now, where are you at? You in Dunedin? Like what?
Yeah, Dunedin.
Look at see.
Yeah.
I'm glad you said it because I would have butchered how to say it.
Yeah,
I could throw a rock and hit Carter right now.
You're in Tampa?
I am. Nice. I'm not too far.
I love Tampa. I definitely want to move here when I'm older.
Daniel, I'll be honest with you. All our guests go through Tampa. Why are you not watching them all play baseball? At some point or another, I feel like they all go through Tampa. What are you doing with your life?
Yeah, seriously.
Taking care of 2 little girls. I'm messing with them.
We are in Clearwater this week. If you want to pop over there, it's a little bit closer.
The old Threshers.
Actually, I want to say our last series is the Yankees in Tampa.
Okay, right there at Steinbrenner, man.
Yeah.
All right.
And you know who I bet's probably pitching for those Yankees, Daniel? Probably good possibility. Probably Griffin Herring and possibly Kate Smith. You should really get over there.
I gotta know. Yeah, I gotta know the dates, so I'll have to look it up and see what's popping.
Here I am having to drive 4 hours to Montgomery to go watch all these guests, Daniel, and you got them in your backyard. Though I have Tim Elko coming in my backyard for the rest of the week. I'm so glad he got called to the way. I'm going to get to go see him. That's just one guy. You're getting a plethora of them in Tampa.
Hey, yeah. I mean, between the Jays and the Yanks, and then not too far, you got the Rays and the Twins out in Fort Myers, and the Sox out in Fort Myers. I mean,
you're rubbing it in, dude.
There's a lot. There's a lot. So that's it, man. Like we are now at the point of the episode where we get to play a game and have some fun. Carter, you ready to play a game?
I am. I love games.
Good. It's very simple. It's called This or That. I give you 2 options. All you have to do is choose one option or the other.
Okay.
The only rules, you can't say both and you can't say neither. You got to go with your gut instinct, go with your heart, go with your head, whatever it takes. Just pick one. Pretty simple.
I'm pretty sure while you were gone, Daniel, and I had the Pierre Steele's episode, I let him get away with choosing both. He just didn't say the word both. And I realized it afterward, and I just kind of glossed over it. You would have never let that slide.
No, not a chance. Not a chance. Jim, Who's this or that brought to you by?
You know, I was going to do Chinook Cedary, but dude, how can I not say the Athletic Collection? Look behind me. All 4 of those frame posters, autographed. I got my Jake Brown one this weekend. Then Hagen Smith was in the mail when I got back. Look at this. Look at this.
Yeah,
Go to the Athletic Collection.
Drew Beam, Hagen Smith.
And then Blake's, you know, they don't sell them, unfortunately.
Burke down there in the
but
bottom.
no, but Burke is a 1 of 1, and he told me to send it to Milwaukee and he'll sign it. That one actually isn't available for sale, but all the rest of them are. Or Brock Wilken. Don't advertise Brock Wilken or Blake Burke. They're not actually available, but the rest, go get them. Yeah,
that's what happens when you're not a AAA deucer. You're a producer.
I'm gonna have Carter. I'm gonna have Carter on one
item
next week, and it's gonna be behind me. Just wait.
Let's go. All right, Carter. Here we go. First question: this or that? Cereal with no milk or peanut butter with no jelly?
Peanut butter with no jelly. That's easy. I don't like jelly.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, I love jelly. Don't get me wrong. Nice PB&J. But what's
cereal with no milk?
Dry. Jim
right.
Jim will tell you.
Pierre actually agreed with me. Pierre says he not only does he agree with me, he does what I do. He said he pours cereal into a cup and eats it. I do that all the time.
Well, Pierre got dominated by Carter when they came to town. So
actually, Pierre had a good weekend. He might have been like the only bright shining spot for Memphis. But
Maybe.
Thanks for throwing that back out. That wasn't very nice.
No, you're right. And now he's no longer there. So,
well, in theory, hey, let me talk about his loyalty because you missed that episode. You might like this, Carter. So he committed to Carrick at Memphis, but he didn't want to just leave Memphis like that. So he still did his year there and then transferred to Missouri and to Carrick. So most guys, when the coach they commit to bounces, they don't even keep that commitment. You know that.
Yeah.
But he's from Memphis originally.
That says a lot about his loyalty.
He's from Memphis originally. He always said he was going to play there, and so he kept that. But now that he sees greener pastures, he's got to go to Missouri, right?
Yeah, don't blame him whatsoever.
All right, next question: beach or swimming pool?
Tough one.
It is.
Dude,
I love the beach, but I hate the sand. But I also love just laying out at the pool.
That's what my problem is, the sand. But Daniel, while he's thinking about it, I hate to keep I keep forgetting all these things that I didn't tell you. I asked him, and that's the both answer. I was trying to think. He can't swim, so he didn't want either of them.
Well,
no, because you can lay out at the pool. You can lay it out at the beach. I don't really get in pools. I'll get in the ocean, but if I'm at the pool, I'm like there for tanning purposes. I don't really get in the pool.
So you'll get in the water at the beach, but not at the pool, huh?
I will get in at the pool, but it's just like that's not the reason I'm going to the pool. So
this is what you do. You go down to Clearwater Beach. You go on over to Frenchie's. You pull up a spot out there on the deck. You got you a super grouper sandwich and just chill out. You don't have to get in the sand. You don't have to get in the water. You can just enjoy the view.
I'm going beach. Yeah.
All right. Would you rather walk 15 miles or jog 5 miles?
Jog 5.
Yeah. It would take way.
I swear. This is the first time we ever had that question. And Daniel, I promise you on everything, I'm walking 15.
I looked at that question and I was like, there's no way in hell I'm walking 15 miles.
I've done it in the military. It's fine, man. Just change your socks.
That would take all day, though.
That's fine.
I would rather attempt to run the 15 miles than to walk.
I run one time a year, Carter. I run for pediatric cancer on the week of Halloween and the Halloween 5K for the Chris Hope Foundation. And I don't even train for it. I just run until I'm about to die. And that's my one time to run an entire year. I hate running so much.
Yeah, I don't like running either.
It's a 5K. And Jim, it's 5,000 meters. So if he had to run 5,001 meters, he would die. So it's just like right at the cutoff point.
Right there.
So and the worst part was this last year, Daniel, they had pizza waiting for the people who got done running. And I thought, I actually ran for once. And then y'all going to have pizza waiting, knowing dang well I'm about to hit 4 or 5 slices. And it was for nothing. Even though I was running for charity, you could at least let me lose weight for a day.
I'm telling you.
That's tough.
All right. Golf or bowling?
Oh, that's actually a good one because I'm gonna go golf.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can
But I
you
love
can you
bowling.
play a little bit?
All right. I bogey every single hole, like every single one.
That's good. I mean,
Yeah.
anybody who tells you they get up there and they par or birdie every hole, they're lying.
Yeah.
Just
No,
lying.
I have one bad shot every single hole that makes me bogey.
So I put that question anytime I see in someone's Instagram a picture of golfing or bowling, and you had bowling, so I figured I would see.
Yeah.
I may retire from bowling after last week, Daniel. My wife, I beat her. I don't know if you saw it, 244 to 78, and posted the picture.
244?
Yeah, and posted on Facebook, and I thought I might not see another day, so I might just hang it up.
You had you also had 2 spares where you had 8 pins and 9. So
That was the first 2, and
could
I
have
feel
been more.
perfect. And let me tell you something. It didn't help. She got mad because these teenage kids were like fan clubbing me next week because I was just in the zone. And then she was like, "I seen you walk around feeling yourself." I was like, "Yeah, why not?" I was like, "I'm not I get to watch all these athletes dominate all the time. Let me have my moment."
Yeah, that's fair.
Very fair. You're so manly. You beat up on your wife in bowling and go around flexing.
That's right. That's right. I beat her in Monopoly the same way with no mercy.
Oh, that's funny. All right. Would you rather use the Bible app or would you rather hold the actual book and read scripture?
I got mine right here. Hold on. It's propped up. Whoa. I'm just actually just fill that off. I'm going Bible.
I asked that because with, the younger generation, a lot of them do prefer to, genuinely use it. And for me, I can't because literally all the distractions, because Daniel could not know that I'm obviously reading my Bible and text me and text me 5 times. The next thing you know, I'm not reading my Bible. So I don't really know how this younger generation does it.
Yeah. No, I do get distracted when I'm on my Bible app. I'll get a text and then I'll move it. I use the Bible app only when I'm like, what's that scripture? And I'll type in like the keywords.
Daniel can do it though because he doesn't like to text, so he's gonna ignore people anyways.
Yeah, I'm gonna put mine on do not disturb or focus mode or work mode, and it's just gonna silence all notifications.
So Daniel, what happens when I get those notifications when you have it and it says you have it on you can't be disturbed, but then it has that little thing that says disturb anyway. So like I can bother you if I want to.
No, what will happen is if you get a text message, your phone will light up and it'll show you. My phone, like when I'm on do not disturb, I have to unlock my phone and pull it up. And then I see that I missed a text message, but it doesn't notify me.
Question though, I was wondering that too.
All right, we're gonna find out because I'm gonna tomorrow when it says you can't be bothered, I'm gonna blow it up.
And I'll see it because I'll have my phone on me, but I probably won't respond.
Look, Carter, he's the guy. He used to ask all the guests on here phone call or text, and them like me, for the most part, prefer text. This guy, he's gonna call you. You're gonna have to talk to him.
Yeah, I just got too much, and I don't even have a lot to say, but it's too much to text.
That's fair.
Too much. I noticed you haven't even responded in the fantasy football group text. Are you even playing?
Yes, if I was.
But you never responded that you were playing because you don't answer text.
Because I shouldn't have to.
It's a given.
I'm in the text thread. Like you don't have to tell I'm playing. Have I sent in my money? No, not yet, but we're still 3 weeks away from the draft, so it'll be fine. All right. Back to the game. Purple or gold uniforms. I don't know why that's a question anymore.
I mean, we had our powder perps, which I thought were pretty cool. They were pretty cool look.
Oh, look at that! You said you don't know why, and then he chose purple.
No, what I'm saying is like he might have a new favorite uniform with a different team.
But I think ECU, because I'm an LSU fan, of course, has the most elite color. So therefore, I want to know what he would choose.
Well, now you know. Powder
Actually,
purple.
the black jerseys that we didn't get to wear this year.
Yeah. Hey, let me tell you something. That's where ECU separates himself from LSU. Those black jerseys that LSU is way too traditional to ever pull off. I would love the black, but ECU did it. They're cooler than us. What can I say?
Yeah, those are sick.
All right. Would you rather go to an MLB game or an NHL game?
NHL.
Yeah, 100%. Have you been in any Lightning games yet?
Haven't been in any Lightning, but I did go to a Hurricanes game, and that was electric.
I'll say this about Carolina, like the siren that they have, and like it gets pretty loud. It's legit.
You need to go check out Tampa because Daniel has sworn that no matter what sporting event he's been to, football, baseball, basketball, any of them, they don't match up to what the Lightning do, especially if it's a playoff game.
Oh yeah,
I've heard the Lightning games are fun. Well, growing up in Huntington Beach, the way I got into hockey was the captain of the Anaheim Ducks, Scott Niedermeyer.
Charlie
we went
Banks?
to school with his kids.
Charlie Banks. Daniel,
So-
WrestleMania or
Charlie
Tampa
Conway,
Bay?
Adam Banks.
Yeah, you mixed the two names. That's why I
mixed
laugh. Daniel, would you rather go to Tampa Game 7 in Tampa, or would you rather go to WrestleMania in Tampa? Putting you to it. This or that for you.
That's a good one. Yeah.
I would say Lightning Game 7 just because I've been to WrestleMania.
If he's gonna get out of the house, Carter, get a dad night off, it's got to be because WrestleMania is in town.
Nah.
How many have you been to?
I've been to 3 WrestleManias and a Royal Rumble. So
Nice.
yeah, it's pretty sweet. I enjoyed it.
It wasn't Omaha this year, was it?
It wasn't. Omaha was definitely one of the
He finally made it, and he's always going to be there now.
Yeah, it's my thing. All right, last question. Big question. All right. Would you rather be the first pick in the Major League Baseball draft, or would you rather win a national championship?
Win a national championship.
Really? $10 million first pick?
Nah.
Just to sign your name? You're gonna pick
Nah.
a piece of wood with some gold on it?
If there's a guy whose character is shot, told me that he was going to take the championship, it's Ben Carter.
Yeah. Nah, there's like I personally like I don't have a need for money. Like I'm not that sounded bad. Like that sounded like I was like loaded already. I'm not rich by any means, but
No,
I'm
you're
rich
okay.
because of
Paul
of God.
Steves came on here and said that he would give his first pick and $10 million back and keep his national championship. And that was, I mean, what are we supposed to say to a guy who actually had obtained it?
Yeah, ask him. Yeah, so that was
You didn't call him a liar, Daniel, but you weren't on that episode, luckily.
It's a lot easier when you start the All-Star game to say stuff like that.
So, Daniel, Mike was on that episode. If it would have been you instead of Mike, and because you normally are the one to tell people they're lying, would you have told Paul he's lying?
Yes, 100%. 100%. I've been like, Paul, come on, bro.
I'm running it back.
Yeah, I'd be like, look, man, we know you're good, but let's be real. You're gonna make the right decision. All right, Carter, man, it's been a blast, dude. Anything you want to plug or promote before we let you get out of here?
No, I mean, Homers That Help. Jim knows about that. That was Parker Bird's going to take that over. That was the foundation that EC Baseball and I started, and looking forward to continuing to grow that. Parker's got some new ideas to continue that, and I'm excited to see where he takes that. Be on the lookout for the ideas that he has, because we actually talked last night, and so I'm excited to see where God takes Homers That Help and where God takes Parker and just the entire EC baseball team.
So what does it do? Who does it help? And how do you like every home run that's hit is something, or like that's just part of it?
So this is where Parker's going to kind of change some things up, I believe. But last year we had 33 home games. We had 33 sponsors for each game. They paid $300 to sponsor the game. And then for every home run that the Pirates hit during the game that they sponsored, they owed another $100 to the Maynard Children's Hospital in Greenville. And the proceeds went to just the families. Like we get in Greenville, so 95 runs through sort of like Raleigh area. So everything east of 95, the Greenville campus got those patients. So you got families traveling hundreds of miles to come to Greenville for their child in the hospital. And so we had gas money. We were working on like just grocery gift cards, like anything that insurance doesn't cover, essentially. And we were able to make a difference in a family's life. That was sort of the vision that we had set out. And we accomplished that because we raised over $50,000 in the first season, which was absolutely incredible. And with Parker at the realm of it now, I can only imagine where he's going to take it. But yeah, it was a way to give back to the community and just make people's lives better. Because
it's huge. How many of you guys, Daniel, so many have came on and it's things that they created, right? Not the school. Man, I love all these things that you are creating and like you said, it's passing on, but just coming up with these different ideas and continually finding ways to tweak and make changes for it to grow. But you say $50,000, man, and that's just something that you and your teammates were able to create. So that's awesome.
Yeah, no, it was an incredible experience. And like I said, can't wait to see where Parker will take it.
Big things is, can people donate to it? Can they go to like a website or something and donate, or?
Yeah. I'll have to send you the link because we don't have like an actual website, but because it's through ECU Health Foundation.
Gotcha.
But there was like there was Fund A, which was like the sponsors paid Fund A, and then the Fund B, which was anybody that wants to donate and help the families out of the hospital, they could. So I'll give you the link to Fund B, which is the one that anybody can donate to. That's my vision for it, is as long as ECU baseball's around, then Homer's That Help will be around. So
nice.
There you go. Well, Carter, dude, it's been a blast, man. We wish you a great year, successful year, and injury free. If there's anything that we can do for you along the way, man, just reach out to us. And obviously we'll let you get your legs and get into it, and hopefully we'll bring you back on and we can talk about Dunedin. We can talk about the Blue Jays. We can talk about it all, man.
Yeah, no, I'd love that. I just appreciate all y'all do for growing the game. It's pretty special.
Absolutely. That's Carter Cunningham, everybody. If you like hearing Carter's story, or you just like hearing us average Joes talk X's and O's, please like and share the podcast on Facebook. Retweet us on X. Listen and subscribe wherever you stream your podcast. As always, comments, ratings, feedback, thumbs up, hearts, hugs, loves. We'll take it all. And we got a stacked week. Jim, what do we got going on this week?
Tomorrow we got Addison Fada, the freshman phenom for Oklahoma gymnastics. Wednesday morning, me and Mike got Chase Dolander and Trey Lipscomb for Pros and Joes. And then Wednesday night, man, me and you it's gonna be different. We've had him on 2 times before. He is actually the leading downloads on YouTube. But our man David Meadows from Savannah Bananas is going to come, and he's going to bring a teammate. So whether it's gymnastics, whether it's college ball, whether it's minor league ball, pro ball, whatever, we got it.
We are stacked. But as always, this has been the Off the Bench podcast. As always, remember, strong body, sharp minds, grit and grind all the time. We are out.